Hello there and welcome to Vermin Hunters TV with me, Si Pitaway. Today on the show we're going to go back to his old roots and do some wintertime rat shooting. Now before I go on to actually show you some rat shooting, I'm going to show you the equipment I'll be using. So the rifle itself is going to be this .177 caliber Artemis P15, and this comes obviously as single shot if you want to, or magazine fed. Preferably if you're using it for ratting, which is normally quick fire, if you're on a good permission, use the magazine. You can see that I've got some custom parts on this rifle. If you look at previous episodes, you'll see where I got these bits from and a little bit of a review of them. Very good, and I really like using them. It really does make this rifle a joy to shoot. So that's the rifle. The pellets, what I'll be using are these. These are JSB Exact Heavies. Now I've used Exact's normal 8.4 grain in the rifle, and it's very good. But I did find that every so often, and it was only every so often, I got a flyer. With these heavies, I haven't had any flyers, and it's absolutely smack on. Right out to 55 yards, you can group under a 5p with this rifle. One point I would bring out, and I've seen other people ask the same question. When you buy this rifle, the barrel comes with like a lot of, I won't say gunk, but it's like oil or a grease. What I think the manufacturers put inside the barrel to protect it, because they don't know how long it's going to be on the shelf inside a gunshot fall before it's bought. So please don't buy the rifle and start pellet testing it without cleaning the barrel. Clean the barrel first. You'll get out this, like I say, this grease or this oil, whatever it is, out the barrel, and then let it up with a decent pellet. And if it's 177, I'd say try these JSB Heavies first at 10.34 grain, because like I say, they're spot on and I love them, and they really do work well on the rats, as you'll see, and I've used them on rabbits with my friend Matt Paul, and he knows how devastating they are on rabbits. They really do knock them over humanely. Anyway, so the night vision kit I'll be using is the Digital Night Stalker night vision unit from Damien West. This is it here. You see it fits onto your scope by these 3 grub screws here, and I've got 2 grub screws underneath. The battery itself is housed in the unit, so you've only got one lead, and the one lead is this lead here, and this is the lead to your screen, which is really good, so you're not having to have loads of leads. You see, turn it on there and you've got the green light comes on. Here I've got a port, an AV port, so if I want to record to my PV1000, which I will do later on, and you'll see, I use this port here. And the one port here is for the only lead, like I said, which is from your screen, goes into there, and your lead can go underneath these rubber bands as well, so it keeps it all nice and tight and not flapping around when you're out in the dark and catching on stuff. So the screen itself, tilting screen like so, you can adjust the brightness and so forth, and the illuminator I'm using is this one here from Optifire. This is a T38, which is the upgrade from the T20, so it's the same size but it's got the better chip in it, and it works really well. And you can see I've got it on an adjustable mount, which allows me, once I've turned on the T38, to zero the actual beam of the IR, but you can only do that looking through the screen to where your scope's looking, and the rifle's pointing. And at the back you'll see there's a green button, and this is a 3 mode, so I press it once for low, twice for medium, and 3 times for high beam. And you can twist the head here like so, and that will make the beam narrower or wider depending what you're doing. So you might only want it on low power and wide beam if you're doing some close range ratting. And the scope that I've got on the Artemis P15 is this Orc Air Max, and this is a 2:7x32 AO, and because it's got 2:7 you can dial it right down and get some close range footage when you're filming as well, so it's an ideal scope. I really recommend it, and my good mate and one of the admin on the group, Len Smith, he uses them as well and swears by them. So that's enough about that. If you want to see anything more about this equipment, please look at the previous episodes where you can see obviously me doing a little review on the custom parts and Damien's kit, but you're obviously also going to see it in use on this episode. So take care and enjoy the rest of the episode.
So where we are then, we're in a 45-yard barn here. It's pitch black inside, and this rat I've guesstimated is around about 33 yards, so my zero. You can see I placed the crosshair on the kill zone, which is his head, and bowl him over with a nice clean humane shot. I then zoom out to ×2, which gives me a wider field of view. This rat's outside, and you can see there's like a tube, and it's where the food comes through. And every so often you'll see rats darting from the right to left and then back again. They're going from cover, and they're picking up the bits what the farmer's dropped. Now you can see I'm resting on my stick, so I haven't got the steadiest rest, but there's two there, and they're quite close, so I need to give them a mil dot of old over, and I bowl that one cleanly over. This shot didn't go to plan. You can see there's two rats there sat on a wall near an haystack. Now I'm resting on these sticks and I slip just as I'm pulling the shot, and you can see the rat goes down then jumps back up again. Now if I slow that down in a second, you'll see I actually got him with a perfect heart and lung shot. There you go, I've stopped it there, look. And when I go and retrieve that rat, he's dead just behind that wall, and I've hit him exactly where the heart and lung area is, where you could see where I stopped it. So this rat's in a different part of the barn, and you can see I'm leaving it raw now, so I zoom in with the IR turned right down and on its widest beam. You see everything was out of focus, and I'm just trying to steady myself on the sticks. I then turn up to the middle power on wide beam, and you can see the rat's eyes went out of focus, and then I adjusted the parallax to take the shot, which I do here. Bowl him over nice and clean, and then once he's kicked around a little bit, I then zoom out, because I'm only on around about 15 meters here, secondary zero. Here we are then, the next customer of the night is around about the same hole. You can see this time I placed the crosshair on top of his head, and if you wait a second you'll see actually the clarity of the camera from the Night Stalker unit. Look, you can see the actual blood coming out his head where the pellet impacted, so it was a really clean, humane kill. Here we are, another part, and this is obviously a pallet, and this rat thought it was safe. I've got the Night Stalker unit trained on him. He was very close, so I'll give him a mil dot of old over, and you can see, you'll see the blood come out the side of his head, and that's where the pellet struck him. Like I say, these GSB heavies, they hit really hard. Same sort of place, under a pallet. You can see another rat there. You can see I'm trying to balance on these sticks. Place my crosshair on him. This time I get him with crosshairs on his head, and he goes straight over. So you can see I zoom out. So he's probably around about 15 yards, 15 meters, I should say. This is now looking under some pallets from a different angle, and you can see in a minute this rat's eye shining, and there's a bit of a dip there where the rats have chewed through. So I put the crosshair on him and send a pellet, and that'll stop him chewing through the farmer's feed there. This is round one of the silo pits, and you can see this rat's there. So I bowl him over and knock him cleanly down. These are around about 15 meters, so they're on my secondary zero, so perfect from a 30 meter zero. Back to the same area again. You see where I knocked that rat over, and there's a couple of more in there. There must be a nest under there. And I'm just waiting to see if I can see any eyes. You can see an eye pop up there, and I go to take the shot. And I think this is the rat, what I've called the lucky rat. And the reason I call it lucky is because you watch me take the shot and watch where the pellet impacts. Take the shot there, and you can see I hit the actual top of the pallet, and the rat didn't even move. So that was one lucky rat. Back round the silo pit again, and this time I'm just doing a little scan, and you can see these eyes pop up now and again. So there's quite a few targets there, but what you can see is they pop in and out of from under the undergrowth, and it makes it quite hard to hit. They also move, and I think I had the IR Illuminator a little bit too narrow at this location, so they was seeing the IR from the 850 nanometer wavelength, and sometimes it was hiding. You can see them there, but I'm being pretty patient. You see that rat there saw me move with the IR. If I'd had the 940 IR Illuminator, that wouldn't have happened because they wouldn't have seen it. But I know they're going to pop out again, and I'm just scanning around looking for them. You see that's a lot of like dead nettles and brambles there. Makes it easy to shoot in the winter. It's a pretty much nightmare in the summer. You see, I see an eye there, so I zoom in, and this time I take him and he actually drops into the water. He kicks around in the water. You'll see me pan over to the right in a second, sorry, to the left, and then back to the right, and that's just nerves. So you saw he was hit with a clean headshot, and obviously I couldn't retrieve that rat. This one's back in the corner of the silo, and this one sticks its head out. It could obviously seen the IR, and it's looking at the IR, but that was a bad move. So I just put the crosshair on him. He's around about 15 meters, like I said, secondary zero, and he got hit cleanly. Still at the same area, the silo pit, and you can see there's rats running around, and I'm zooming in to take the shot, but they're seeing the IR. In hindsight, what I should have done is put it on a wider beam, and then they probably wouldn't have been so frightened. You can see there's points when I could take the shot. I could have thought about taking the shot there, but there wasn't enough for the head. So it pays to be patient, and if you're patient, you get a headshot, you'll get a lot cleaner shot. So I wait there, look, and you can see what I mean. He just rolled over, and it's just flicking of the tail, and that's normal for a clean headshot on a rat. So this is the last rat of the night then, and you can see just behind this wall here, he just lifts his head up. I get a clean headshot. I was waiting for him actually, because all I could see was the back. As soon as he put his head up, I put the crosshair on him, smack him, and you can see there's the delay, and then the characteristic shaking of the tail, and the rat dying with a nice, clean, humane headshot. The farmer was happy.